Hey guys, welcome to the Moe and O Show. My name is Omar Gonzalez.
And I'm Omar.
And we got wine.
We got vino, baby.
I think, we're shooting at night tonight. No coffee.
No coffee, because I need to sleep sometime this week. His coffee is delicious, but it's strong.
Yeah, we're actually recording at night here. And what do you think of the new studio?
I love it.
It's $4,000 a month here rent. Those of you that are new to podcasts, we basically focus mostly on photography, but we also talk tech and comics.
Someone in the comments said, thank you for not talking about comics or something like that, right?
Yeah. It's all right. We understand.
We're watching you.
Yes.
We're watching.
You're off the list.
We still like you.
All right, you go to a wine store. What do you usually pick up?
I usually pick up a Cabernet,
So you go by grape.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like red now. I used to be a big white man. Said no one.
Where's your white section?
Yes. So nice to drink white. Now I drink Chiantis or Chiantis, whichever one you want to prefer.
It's Chianti. Come on.
I don't care. and reds, and Cabernet. I had my first Merlot recently. Merlot. I always think of it as being a foofy wine, so I have to say it like that. Merlot, please.
You know that? Remember that movie Sideways?
No.
Okay, there was a movie Sideways, which was a wine movie. It was about like California wine. Anyway, in the movie, the character says that Pinot Noir wines. This movie came out in like the mid '90s. Pinot Noirs were like this beautiful whatever. Pinots were magical, but Merlot sucked.
If they want to drink Merlot, we're drinking Merlot.
No, if anybody orders Merlot, I'm leaving. I am not drinking any f***ing Merlot.
Okay. Relax, Miles. Jesus, no Merlot. Did you bring your Xanax?
And in real life, after that movie, all the Merlot prices tanked, like just because of that movie. And Pinot got really, really expensive just because of that movie.
But it's not based on any fact, though. I don't think so.
No,
the guy who wrote that, his opinion.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Hey, Harry, I'm going to write this funny line. Watch this. It's going to be real funny.
Yeah, so Pinot prices soared, and it became like kind of a sought-after wine. They're still expensive, but I learned everything about wine in 2005. We went to Italy, and we took a wine tour, and we learned about how they put it in barrels for 3 years, the whole process.
I did the same thing, but I did it in Harlem. I don't think I had the same experience.
Wine in a box.
Yeah, listen, check it out. You pop it open.
Not to go back to our high school days, but like wine coolers were hot when we were like in high school. Like
Unless they were Cisco.
Yeah.
Did you ever drink Cisco?
Zima. Do you remember Zima?
Cisco. We're not even going to talk about Zima because Zima was cute, and if you were a guy and you drank it, they kind of made fun of you.
Yes.
And now it doesn't matter. But back then, Cisco was. People used to call it liquid crack.
Oh yeah.
And they rumored that they had the same ingredients that you find in formaldehyde. Yeah. So, quick story.
Okay.
My senior year, I was hanging out with my friend Frank. And it was the junior prom going on in Hoboken High School.
Woohoo.
And Frank had bought me my first 2 Ciscos. So it was like 2...
For the price of one?
It was like 16 ounce or 130. It was not a 40.
Yeah, I was going to say it didn't come in 40.
It wasn't
in a brown
40, so I
paper
think it was a
bag.
32 ounces. So I drank the first one with no problem. Boom! Chugged it. And then I drank the second one. Boom! So less than an hour later, the prom is coming out of the high school, and I'm throwing up all over the front of the high school with people coming out like, hey, John, are you okay?
Oh, man.
Oh, man. And it was such a horrible, horrible experience.
Hey, you got to go through that. Happened with tequila in college with me. I didn't drink a lot, so...
I learned another lesson about drinking. Don't drink with merchant marines. Even though I was a Marine, I thought I can handle it. I could drink all day. Merchant Marines do nothing but spend their day drinking on ship. So I was playing cards with one of my Marine Corps friends, and his uncle came over, who was a merchant Marine. Spends 6 months out in sea, 2 months back, 6 months out. All they do is drink. We bought a big bottle of Bacardi, and we drank the entire big bottle of Bacardi between 3 men.
Wow.
And I was like, no big deal. I can handle it. No. The minute I got up, I was found in the bathroom. With dirty clothes because, it just went everywhere.
Yeah, so for our younger listeners, this is probably a normal weekend for you. But,
Salud.
Salud. Hey, oh. What do you think of this cool set?
I like it. It's very nice. It's very like YouTube-ish.
Yeah, I was going to say like every YouTube channel.
It's official.
It's official.
You got the plant. You got the RGBs in the back.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on, because I struggle with this with my YouTube channel. It's people have a good idea, and then you see it somewhere else, and then you kind of want to do it. But like, for example, this is a typical YouTube setup purple. Those of you just listening to the audio, we have kind of like pink purple lights in the background, and we're lit up nice. And I have that struggle like between being original and
that's the problem. I think everyone that comes up with a nice idea that you want to emulate, 3,000 people are doing it, so they're like, oh, it's just they converted it, they're sellouts.
Yeah, I don't know if you've noticed this. Any kind of YouTube vlogger has like super slow mo because Peter McKinnon, like that cool B-roll of
B-rolls, the 85 millimeter lens is being used.
Yeah,
because that's what Peter uses.
Yeah,
No, don't get me wrong.
And the hip music going.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Peter it does what he does, and he does it very well.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I could watch Peter for doing anything, like frying eggs, you know, because he makes it entertaining.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter what you're presenting. If it's not entertaining, it's not entertaining.
Absolutely. And so I've thought to do stuff like Peter. Like, think about how would you film like Peter if you were going to be like showing how an egg fries?
So I would come in and swoop in low.
Yeah.
Come around.
The pan?
Yeah, the pan, and show the egg frying.
No pun intended.
And then, like, have one, the flippy come over with the music.
Super slow mo. Yeah. I would have the egg like super close up, crackling.
Yes.
Yeah. So my whole point is I struggle with this because, and I actually don't struggle with it too much. I think about what everyone does, and then I try to do something else. Except for right now.
Welcome.
Hey, welcome to every YouTube show.
But no, sometimes we just need something different, and it's perfect. This is really nice.
Yeah, we are recording at night, so this is the only thing we could have done. Anyway, I missed you, buddy.
Missed you too. So let's talk about what happened last week.
Oh boy,
with our audio.
All right, so far we've had see no evil. Then we went to hear no evil.
Okay.
We should probably just not talk now for speak no evil. Like we'll just mouth.
Albondigas.
So Final Cut Pro came out with an update, and I'm so sick of just hitting the update button. And I don't know if you have Mac. They just keep bugging you about the update. I'm bugging.
Right there in the corner. Right there in the corner. Right there in the corner.
And then I keep saying, remind me tomorrow. Remind me tomorrow.
I've gotten to the point where there's no longer remind me tomorrow. It's like you just have to hit install or ignore it at this point with the Movovi. Movovi.
So anyway, I updated Final Cut Pro, and the way I've been doing our show is I've been like using the same event, because in iMovie and in Final Cut Pro, an event is like the Moe and O Show, and then a project is each episode we do.
Okay.
So I stayed in the same. I did the same thing I do every week, which is I made a new project and I called it Fanboys, and I started editing it. And I could hear everything fine, but it just wouldn't export correctly. It didn't export with any sound, and I didn't know it until you told me.
Yeah, I get up every Monday morning, so excited, like I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, because Mo doesn't know the edit.
No.
Damn, I have to do everything around here.
Well, I don't have Final Cut Pro. I only have First Cut Pro. So when they come out, the first thing I do in the morning, while I'm getting myself ready for work,
for mistakes.
No, I listen and watch it, and actually this past morning, well, the morning that one aired, I didn't actually watch it the first thing in the morning because I was running late for work.
Okay.
It wasn't until I got to work that I started watching it, and it was still kind of early, so I text Omar. I'm like, "Hey, buddy."
I know, you were so nice.
I know you're sleeping.
I didn't get mad there. I didn't get mad there.
But I thought that, there's something wrong with the sound.
Luckily, it was caught within the first hour.
Yeah.
And thank you guys. It's so funny. You guys are amazing. Thumbs up for our wonderful fans that, like, the few of you, but love you right away. Like, so positive. Like, all right, whose fault is it this
That's
time?
funny, Omar. You got us again.
Instead of like, you guys suck, thumbs down.
Why are we even here?
I know. So thank you for that, for being supportive and knowing that we're a very budget show.
Budget. We have a budget.
So that's what happened last week with the show. I exported with no sound, and even the export is terrible. Like it sounded great, but then in the middle it did something weird.
Like 7 minutes in, people are like, what happened at 7 minutes?
Hey, I was testing to see if people get to 7 minutes. We're going to put Easter eggs in there.
All day long, every day.
You got to find them. So I'm going to start with a brand new event and just start a whole new, even what are called libraries. Like in Final Cut Pro, you can start what's called a new library, which is like all the Moe and O Show and all my YouTube stuff. I'm just going to start from scratch. And
I want to come and watch you at it one day. That way, in the event that you have
do it.
to,
No, I think you should start doing some.
It would be, you know what it would be like? It would be like some little 4-year-old with crayons. Like, hey, you like my work? So yeah.
Well, I mean, it's here's the secret to editing is if you're bored, then someone else is gonna be bored. Like I have to be laughing myself.
But that's the whole
from our
point.
conversation.
Like, I laugh by myself all day long. You know, so.
Yeah. So I'll be sitting there, and sometimes we ramble about one thing. Like
us?
No. Like if it goes on too long about a flash or something, I'll rewind, find out where we got enough info out, and cut. And sometimes on these shows we talk about 30 minutes or so, and we just show 20.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Sometimes it's like 11.
Like 4 minutes and 17 seconds.
I can't believe these podcasts that go on for an hour and 48.
Yeah, and how many of those can keep you for the full hour and 48?
Yeah.
That's another thing. That's why I think ours are perfect. Like even when they're about to get bored, you're like, okay, bye.
All right, goodbye. See ya.
Yeah, meanwhile, again, like no Mo, we get bored a lot sooner than that. We just stick it out.
Try 8 minutes.
Because we just stick it out because we're troopers.
But I think it's hardwired into our brain to sit back and listen to someone. So when you're doing something else, like either driving or you're cleaning, and there's like
you just
a
it's
podcast,
in the background. It's good noise, and it pulls you in. And sometimes you zone out, but it's still you need it.
You said it perfect. Pulls you in because music is passive. You can think about other things when music is going on, but you have to listen to what someone else is saying, or you'll miss it.
Someone says that the Fuji X-T20 is the worst camera ever.
Hey, what do you have over there, buddy? Let's talk about change.
Since we're gonna just segue smoothly into another conversation.
Oh yeah, that's what we do around here.
I said I would never sell the DA50 or something to that extent, and then I spent another week with it, and I could not lift it.
You asked me. You said I even gave you advice. I said, you're not going to get a better camera than that for what you sell it for. But talk about its weight and.
So it starts at almost 3 pounds, the camera by itself, and then the lenses are another 3-4 pounds. And people are like, what's that? 6 pounds, Mo?
Yeah.
6 pounds gets heavy, especially when you're supporting it with your wrist and your forearm only, and you have MS and stuff like that.
And you said you're taking less jobs. You're shooting more for yourself.
Yeah, I'm shooting for myself,
projects.
or jobs that are really 2-3 hour jobs because I love shooting. I do it because I love shooting, and I didn't want to give it up, but I know. Carrying that DA50 around,
I know
it was time. It was time. I put a picture up today. I said I retired the beautiful Grizzly, and I moved on to a more nimble Jaguar.
So what'd you get?
So I went with the Sony A7 III, and the money I got off the A50, I was able to purchase this and still have money left over to buy a nifty 50,
cool,
some batteries, and a nice little case.
It's a great camera. I mean, it's the number one selling mirrorless full frame camera.
At this moment, I don't have any regrets.
Okay.
I mean, I do think I'm going to miss the Nikon because obviously 11 whatever years with the Nikon system. But the 6300 helped me transition so smoothly.
Yeah.
So I realized at that point, carrying the 6300, it weighed like a gram. Okay. Compared to carrying an elephant, it was like carrying a kitten.
Yeah, I know. And it's funny, to me, the Fuji X-T2, this is the Fuji X-T2, seems so big to me because I love the Fuji X-T20 as being tiny. And you can shoot a wedding with that thing.
Yeah. No, there's nothing nothing I do that I can't do with this. And remember how we said if you get some new gear, the best way to test it out is ask one of your friends if you could jump in one of their shoots and stuff like that?
Well, come with me.
No, Georgie.
Oh,
Georgie. Bumping ahead, Georgie. Our favorite buddy.
Yeah.
He had a bridal shower going on this past weekend, and I said, "Hey, what exactly what I said to you for you to do? I did myself." I said, "Hey, can I come with you?
Cool.
I want to practice." I said, "Don't want you to pay me anything. I want to just come, shoot, and start getting familiar with this camera." I'm not gonna do a lot of events in general.
Yeah.
But I know. Because I'm a portrait photographer. I shoot portraits or simple things.
What was the atmosphere? Was it like natural light? Was it dark? You needed flash?
I needed flash.
How'd you have flash for that?
So I picked up a Nissan.
Oh, the Nissan,
I'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay, cool.
So I went in there, and it was a fast-paced environment, but at a pace where 2 photographers was too many. So I really pretty much jacked up everything for the first hour or two. You know, with the Sony in the back, you have the drive modes, the this mode, and that. So somehow I went from full RAW to full JPEG for like 200 shots.
Oh, no.
And then back to RAW. And then, so
Dang, Sony rookie, you are.
I was a rookie. I said, George, a lot of black and whites for those, okay? Black and white fixes everything.
George has done it to me. I've had to black and white his JPEG, so he knows.
So actually, I think that was the greatest thing that could have happened to me, that he had an event coming up, that I was able to, and it wasn't like far away from my house, so I didn't have to stay there for the whole full 8 hours, 4 or 5 hours, whatever it was. And I had a really good time, and he was able to, at the end of the day, get a couple of shots that he could use towards his own portfolio. So it worked out really well.
I think the best thing to do too is just shoot for yourself. Go out and try it. And did you use the stellar eye autofocus, or
I don't know where that is. So
well, you can set a custom function, one of the buttons to turn it on.
And I was looking for that in the menus, but again, the Sony menu is like 3,000 pages.
You're remember we used to work in Burger King?
No. We never worked in Burger King.
So Moe and I worked in Burger King. Okay, let me explain how they train you there. Okay, so you watch this video. By the way, how much did you get paid when I was $3.25 an hour? $3.25.
I made more than that, but not much more than that.
Wow, the CEO over there.
Yeah, I made just $4 and change or something.
Wasn't that funny? It's
yeah, that was mucho money.
Mucho money back then. But they would show you a training video, but then throw you right to the wolves. Like you start with sodas,
fries.
Then you're on fries.
Work the broiler. Working the broiler.
Yeah.
Feed them Whoppers.
Yeah, so we were 15 years old, but you did the same thing. High stress situations, working the camera, you can pretty much shoot it in Aperture Priority mode.
That's what I did, actually. I put it on Aperture Priority, actually, as a matter of fact. That's what I did. And like I said, that's what Omar does, so I'll do it. Because normally I'm full manual myself, but I figured, you know what, this is practice, so let's get the other settings into play, the ISO, get a feel for it, stuff like that, know where the buttons were, because, again, the button changes. The button layout is completely different.
Yeah.
The dials work differently.
Well, let me tell you about the dials that we have. Well, those of you that are trying to shoot events, you should probably, if you're shooting flash, just set the camera to manual and just make sure because, for the most part, the lighting inside won't change unless the DJ or whoever is making the lights really bright or lowering.
Set the flash to manual.
And the camera.
Okay.
Because if you set the camera to Aperture Priority, it wants to change your shutter to the ambient, and you don't want that. You don't want your shutter speed to change to the ambient. It's going to give you really low shutter speeds, and you'll be able to get away with that because your flash will freeze action. But why do you want to let in so much light? So my suggestion is to here are my typical event settings. If it's a really dark venue, about 800 to 1600 ISO. It lives there the whole night. And then shutter speed's about 1/100th. That's fast enough to really move, if there's a lot of light hitting the person, to freeze them enough. But the flash is what really freezes action and people.
Question.
Yeah.
Why such a low ISO? It's such a dark event. Is it because your camera can't go higher? You're afraid to go higher because you're not used to going higher?
I don't want to go higher because it's going to let in too much room light. And if you let in too much room light, it's going to let too much light on the person, and you'll get ghosting. So ghosting is the flash will expose for them.
And then there's movement.
But there's a little bit of movement. And so if there's dancing going on, you're going to have... Now, ghosting could be a cool effect if you're going for that. But I like to set my ISO, and I'll even look in the EVF or in a viewfinder, the needle about 1 or 2 stops below what the camera's telling me. And that gives me the background room light. You see these pink lights back here? That was what I would expose for, and then I would set my flash for what the person's face is.
Face.
2 exposures. This is the camera exposure back here. Those of you watching the YouTube, I'm pointing to the pink in the background. Set your exposure for that, and then use your flash like a dimmer on the people. So don't use Aperture Priority is my recommendation, because it's going to mess up your whole mojo.
That messed me all up. I thought you used Aperture Priority. That's why I said, let me use Aperture Priority.
No, Aperture Priority is great for ambient, no flash.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And completely dial in your ambient, dial in what the room is showing, and then use your flash and then, I've done events with people, other photographers that use TTL. So they'll dial in their room, ISO 1600, f4, and shutter's always at 1/20th, let's just say. But then their flash is on TTL. And the problem, those of you that don't know, TTL is like auto flash. So your flash is kind of thinking of everything. The problem with that is if you point your camera at a black tuxedo, the flash goes nuts. If you point it at a white tablecloth, it gives you less light. Yeah,
Get my ear?
Yeah, and then you're freaking out because you're starting to use like flash, flash compensation dial. You're like, let me turn up my TTL.
And then you blow it up later.
Then you
on.
blow it up. It's going up. It's going down. Use manual flash like a dimmer. And then I always taught my second shooters to just go up and go down. But there was this one second shooter that they just didn't want to. And what happens is the flash will light up the entire room because they weren't using a spot meter, which is like, let me spot meter on the skin, ignore the pink background. No, the camera sees all.
They had it for a whole like center weight and then
Center,
boom.
And then boom, light up the whole room. So.
Yeah, no, that was me. I did that. I used to do that all the time. I used to always wonder, why is my flash so strong and why is it so dark in here? And when I never could get a consistent picture.
Yeah,
that was me. But I think
so
when I
are
started,
you shooting manual flash or TTL too?
No, not. I'm talking about years ago when I first started.
Yeah,
I first started, so I could never figure out why my pictures weren't consistent. Why? Because I thought TTL,
was the way to go.
greatest thing in the world.
And it is good if you know how to use it.
If you're in a stable environment, it's a good thing to use it for fill flash. I use it for.
I always want to use TTL because it seems like it would just speed everything up. The problem is it does that thing every now and then. It'll give way too much light, and I don't know why. It's either the meter's pointing at something too
One minute
dark
it's brilliant, and the next minute it's like the dumbest thing in the room.
Yeah.
I mean, so I completely understand that. And I think that's why I went to completely shooting manual with the shutter, with the camera and the flash. And I always, with the Sony, had a program so I could just quickly bump it up and down.
You just need to practice, that's all. I mean, with any camera system, it's so... like when I was using your Sony, I was just like, this, I can't.
When I was using that Sony, I was like, what is this?
What the hell is going on?
I'm never going to be a Sony man.
Tell me about this Nissan. You just picked up an emergency flash?
So I went to, I knew I was going to go help George. I knew anytime you're doing an event, you're not in control of what kind of light you're going to have.
Yeah.
So I said, I need to have a flash. I said, whether it's a $10 flash or a Sony flash, which is like $1 million.
Oh, yeah.
So I said, I went to our local Unique
Your
Photo.
Young-Yos don't work on there?
I don't have Young-Yos anymore. I have Nikon flashes only.
And they didn't work?
I was going to run them, but I didn't want them to be that dumb.
Okay.
In case I did want to do any certain things where like I was going to do, rings or anything, I could definitely use the TTL there because I knew I'd be in a perfectly set environment.
You're crazy, man. Manual is the best.
That's your opinion.
Come on, manual is like, it's easy.
Manual, it can be the best. It can be, but so can a good TTL shot if you're in a
right.
rush.
If you know how to use it. Yeah.
If
Hold
you're
on, Asmer. Ready?
Oh my! Now everyone has to go to the bathroom. Pee break.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so much better than coffee. I don't know why I feel so great.
So that's what I did. So I got a Nissan flash, and it's
Nissan.
I'm not missing any Nissan. And it came with the little commander and everything, which I thought was pretty neat. So I picked it up at like $200 something. And I picked it up instead of paying the $590 for the Sony one.
Yeah.
I mean, but the Sony one has a nifty thing though. Like if you turn the camera this way, the flash head alone
automatically does that?
You can rotate it up.
Oh, you can rotate it. It's not like, have you seen Canon's new automatic flash for dummies? No. Okay. So, when you have a flash on your camera and you want to bounce off the ceiling, so you turn it vertical, but then the flash head you have to turn vertical also. So you have to go. So Canon came up with it's a little robot. So you turn the camera and the flash can actually calculate the angle of bounce on the people. So it goes and points perfectly for bounce flash.
What?
So you can go vertical and it goes.
That's crazy.
It's so crazy and it's a little creepy.
Yeah, you gotta put a picture of that right here.
Yeah. Let's put some video up here, but it's pretty cool. It takes that level of learning and control off, because you can bounce sort of more side light than up light and this and that.
That's really crazy. But that's why I was going to go with the Sony, because I was so impressed with their head rotated in a way that no other camera's head rotated.
Cool.
So, but I'm like, I'm not paying $600 for that though.
Yeah.
I mean, because I
just take that Nissan and force it.
Because when it comes down to it, that flash I'm bought is just going to be put behind an umbrella on a manual setting for me down the road. So I just want something that talked to Sony in case I needed to talk to Sony.
Well, you should have went for the Godox system. We're not sponsored by any kind of Flashpoint Godox here, but I have 2 Explore 600s, which are the big monolights, and they're great, except, believe it or not, this is a problem, when you need less light. So I use large umbrellas, but if you're in a dark environment, you need less light. You just need a little, what was our sound? So when you're you basically expose, same thing as before, you're in the temple or church, and you see the candles in the back, you expose 1200 ISO, slow shutter speed 100, 60th maybe, and then you just need a little pop on the person with a grid. So my big flashes were just too powerful, so I would put gels on them. I would put 2 layers of diffusion. I was trying to stop light.
It's like, why is that wearing long johns?
I know, totally. I have my underwear on there. So I decided to get this little guy. This is it's known as the Godox Explore AD200 or the Flashpoint Evolve 200. And look at this thing.
It's really compact. It's meaty. It's definitely meaty.
Actually, let me take this mount off so you can see how light it is.
It's come with the lithium batteries too, right?
Oh man, that's the other thing, is these batteries last forever, and just the size. You can.
And like you people out there in the YouTube world and listening on the podcast, like every photographer who gets a new piece of gear, you spend all day on YouTube looking up that gear and this and the other. Omar showed this to me today, and I was just watching a Manny Ortiz video on this thing, what he uses. So
you know who else is great? Francisco Hernandez uses this too. He's a Sony ambassador, and he always pushes Flashpoint stuff. Look at this. You could throw this in a bag, and it's the power of 3 speed lights.
And it feels like you don't have to baby it.
Yeah.
It's
and if you act now, we'll throw in
applesauce.
Yeah,
everyone loves applesauce.
Free bottle of wine with every Evolve 200.
But it won't be chinny though.
Ching. Nice. Let's do that in the microphone. Ready? Oh, here we go.
Oh my!
That was freaking louder than you're clicking.
I thought I was gonna break it.
So I really recommend this. By the way, if those of you on the YouTube channel can see that this Evolve 200 has a strange head on it. It doesn't come with this round head. This is another $80, but it comes with a bare bulb and a Fresnel head, which is what a regular flash has.
So speaking of $80, well, first of all, how did you this just pop in or pop out? Or?
Yeah, it slides out a weird way.
Awesome.
Don't even.
So what is the cost of that? Because I'm going to get it. So
about $300.
That's pretty awesome.
But think about it. A freaking Canon speed light is $450. Same with Nikon, right? They're in the $400.
Yeah, close to the $500 range.
Yeah, that's one speed light, and it takes friggin' 4 AA batteries.
And that's the equivalent of 3 speed lights.
3 speed lights.
Three of the big speed lights.
Yes. That's number 1. And 2, this round head right here is... I got the round head because I want to... They just announced this magnetic...
Magmod.
I love gelling my flashes. So when I'm in a sort of incandescent sort of neighborhood...
That place, yes. That thing.
I'll just throw in a gel, but eventually they're going to have all kinds of... Magmod system. Mm-hmm. You can use the Magmod system on this because it's a round head.
That's really pretty awesome. I'm so excited that actually you showed it to me, because I was just watching the video, like I said, and I said, I wonder how that is. I might should go pick it up.
Yeah, so it comes in this case. It comes with a little case, and they have a bunch of different configurations. You can get ones with barn doors and gels, and
it has a normal thread mount, right?
It no, yeah. Here's my only annoyance with it. It doesn't have. You have to buy some kind of. It comes with a little plastic junky mount. Mm-hmm. Which I don't want to use. So you saw how I had mine up. Mine's ready to go on an umbrella stand.
Right.
So I put this little connector on there, and I just screwed it into there. But they have these Bowens mount. They're called S-type something or others. Anyway, you can mount it, and it comes with a bare bulb.
That's what she said.
Ooh. Oh, dip. Here's the Fresnel head.
That's the one I thought I was going to say.
Yeah, so this will work fine too. But the videos I've seen, this is a prettier spread of light, a little bit more even, and this one is a little harsher. But this is way compact.
So
Look
you
at
said
this.
$300?
$300,
So
baby.
$300 with the $80 adapter there, you're still paying less than a brand new Canon or
Totally.
Nikon.
And I
or
wouldn't
Sony.
even recommend this yet. I got it because I know I'm a big geller.
That, and you're looking into the future. No reason not to get it. You know.
Yeah, and I'm invested into the whole flashboy system. But it goes back to our original conversation, which is, damn, we change our minds a lot. You said you're going to stick with Nikon no
Yes.
matter what, till
No
death
matter-
do us
till
part.
death do us- and I died inside.
Are you a little sad? Like I saw your post seem like
no, you know what? I delayed sadness. Like I
You're a
went,
fanboy then.
so when I got the Sony, I was like, no big deal, no whatever. I'm good, whatever. I'm glad I did this.
Yeah.
And then I saw a picture I took the day I bought the Sony next to my Nikon, and I had to post it because a little bit of me died inside watching that picture. I'm like,
Yeah, well, you can be back. You'll be back. I mean, you'll be back. You're
you know what? I don't think I'll be back because unless they step up their mirrorless game. And at this point, I'm already invested $2,000 into the Sony system at least, right?
Why? Here's a weird question, but why? I probably would have done the same thing you did, but all these sales came out for two other cameras during Black Friday: the A7R3, which is a 43 megapixel mother. Mm-hmm. That was $1,000 off.
Mm-hmm. But it's
Still expensive,
Right.
like in the 3,000. And the A7 II, did you look into that guy?
A7 II.
It was $998, yo.
Yeah, but it's not on the same level as this camera. It's a
How?
it's a great
It's got
camera.
the same sensor.
It doesn't have the same autofocus system.
True,
It doesn't
but-
have the same.
What are you shooting? Cheetahs?
But here's my point.
All right.
I wanted to get away from the 50 megabyte sensors
Oh, like the big guys, because the file size.
because I'm tired of having files that are 90 megabytes.
It's big enough, 24.
So
yeah.
for what I shoot, this is more than enough for me.
Oh, yeah.
If I was still going to be running around doing events with you or other things like that, and I need something faster, punchier, stronger, yeah, but I'm not. I'm doing a few events a month, a year maybe.
Autofocus.
Autofocus
Awesome.
with all the portrait shooting that I'm going to continue to do, whether it's hired or my own fun stuff. So to me, this was a step out of the professional realm and still be able to be professional if I needed to be.
Yeah. I think, the way we're headed or should be headed, like the Fuji X-T3, they up their game with the eye and the face.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're headed, man, where the camera takes care of focus.
The older we get, the harder for us to focus, brother.
You young people have no idea. Like, we can't see the back of our LCD, moving focus. Sometimes you look, how many times have you looked at the back and you think it's in focus until
Yes.
you go back to the computer and you're like, what the hell?
What was I smoking?
Hey! Oh! So I think what happens is technology gets better, but we also can't fall into the trap of the Apple iPhone and now with the OnePlus, this cycle where you get up in the hype of cameras. Remember where it used to take 5 years for the next Nikon to come out or the next?
Yeah, that's what happened. The D800 came out in 2013, 2012.
Yeah, look, 5 years.
And then it came out with a small increment at the 810,
Yeah,
but it was a
no
really
one-
just small
Yeah,
increment.
that was for anyone like
So if
jumping.
you didn't have the 800, you would buy the 810.
Exactly.
It wasn't a big. If you had the 800, you weren't buying the 810.
Yeah.
But when the 850 came out like 4, 5, 6 years later, you're like, wow, kind of.
Yeah, that was an easy jump for
now
pro
Sony.
photographers.
They're about to announce their A7S3.
Which is like for video shooters.
Right, because the S2 was like super night vision on that thing.
Super
Like, I
night
could see
vision, yeah.
everything you do at night. But the whole point is, our right to change our minds comes with whatever our needs become.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. I changed my mind within a few weeks
Yeah,
because I realized that, I'm not going to be able to lift that elephant.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love her. She was my baby, but she got big. She got big quick.
Just let her go, man.
It's like a fat man on the beach with a bathing suit.
Yeah.
You can't have that. So Omar,
All right, brother. This was great. Wine was great.
and the flashpoint was delicious. It's beautiful. Go look at that. Go check out videos on that thing.
All right, man.
Evo 200. No, I'm not.
We need a
getting it.
new screenshot with this new background. Maybe we should be more. Let's put the wine up. How about that?
I need some more.
All right,
wine.
screenshot. All right, we'll see you guys. Oh, you have no wine.
I am wineless.
Oh, how about that's the screenshot? Me pouring.